welcome to another episode of Spontaneous Disruption. This is your host, Nikki.
Hey, and it's your girl, L.
What up, L?
Girl, what's up with you? How's your week going?
Hungry.
You hungry?
Yeah.
You snacking?
I'm snacking. I've been snacking on these little sweet potato chips. I need to put them down, though. There's no salt added, though.
Hey, that's a plus. A win is a win.
That's what happens when you don't eat. Or you
what you got going on? It's Labor Day this weekend. The summer is done. How do you feel about that?
I feel good. I mean, my favorite season is the fall. So.
Yeah, my boo said the same thing.
Is it?
I just read on CNN that, sorry to disappoint you fall lovers, but there's not going to be much of a fall because it's been super hot. They said it's still going to be warm.
Oh, we're going to go from like heat to like extreme cold.
You think so?
It's still in the 90s, like even now.
I know now. It's insane. It is insane. I'm actually looking forward
Mid-90s.
to cooler weather, but I don't know about cold weather. I don't like that too much.
I'm okay with it though because, like, you know, my birthday is end of September, and
whoop.
I feel like I always have to wear like more clothing, and I sometimes want to wear like something a little bit more lighter.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'll be able to wear something lighter. And I'm going to Dubai for my birthday, so I'm looking forward to that. So if I do anything this weekend, I'll just be doing a little shopping to prepare.
I'm so excited for you for that. I mentioned last week that you had some things that you may or may not want to share, and you did say that you're going to Dubai. So I was waiting on you to share that. Where else are you going?
That's it. This month.
That's it for now. Okay.
For this month.
How long you gonna be there again?
Oh. Let me see. I think it breaks down to like 6 or 7 days.
All right. How long does it take to get there?
Only 9 hours.
Really? Okay. I thought it would have taken longer. And is this straight or a layover?
It's straight through.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
I've never flown Emirates. Everyone says that Emirates is really nice, but like Delta had the best deal going. So I'm flying Delta, and I don't mind. I've flown them lots of places and no issue.
I have a cousin that went to Dubai. I think I saw pictures of her on the plane. They were in these little pods. Is that Emirates? Maybe that's Emirates.
Maybe first class, but like even Emirates has the normal like general seats or whatever you call it, main seats. The ones I sit in.
Yeah.
I don't typically sit in the first class seats, the little pods. I did that one time. One time on Delta. It was like Delta One. And I upgraded for like my birthday or something.
Well, it's going to be your birthday again, so maybe you might get lucky. We'll see.
I upgraded myself. They didn't upgrade me.
No, I'm hoping they upgrade you. Tell them it's your birthday. Tell them I said so.
Oh, they ain't gonna do that. I used to travel a lot more, so I had like more points, more perks and stuff. Yeah. And so I don't, even then I don't remember them upgrading me, but anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. I hear it's a beautiful city, but it's also super restrictive in some ways.
Yeah, we know that.
And people say, oh, yeah, no, it's not as strict as they say, but I'm not taking any chances.
Are you going to try to visit the area that's supposed to be Akon City?
No.
Is that Dubai?
No.
Is that in Dubai
I think
or somewhere
that's in
else?
Africa.
Oh, Africa. Okay, Akon City. I thought it had something to do with Dubai, or was that his investors?
He was looking for investors from the UAE.
Okay.
And he said he was inspired by Dubai.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah,
okay.
But I don't know where. I forgot. Like it's in Ghana maybe or Senegal.
Yeah.
Senegal.
That is where it is.
Isn't that where he's from?
Yeah.
I think he's Senegalese. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
but
that's
anywho,
exciting
what you
stuff.
doing to end the summer?
I am going to the House in the Park picnic. You know, I'm from Chicago. Don't get started telling me where house music is from. I say originated in Chicago, so I'm a Chicago girl. I will be always. It's my city. I will be at the house picnic. I don't have any other plans outside of that, but I think we have a few parties that we'll be attending, and then I'm gonna sit my ass down. I'm ready to.
That's not true.
I am.
I think last fall, like. We took a little time off, but like we were still going out to like little cute bars. I think we visited what's that place that was supposed to be like really Instagram worthy somewhere in the hotel in Buckhead. Like we visited a few places, the garden room
restaurant or garden room.
Yeah, we went to a few places. So you weren't sitting down.
Yeah, I know. But
you told yourself you.
I will tell you this: I was a lot more subdued than I normally am. Put it that way.
I feel like you've been outside.
I have since my birthday. It's just crazy. But seriously, fall is learning season for me. Yeah. Remember, I said I'm gonna do the swimming. I'm gonna do the Spanish.
All right.
I'm gonna do it for real.
All right. Next time I try to get you to like walk in the pool, don't.
Girl, she tried to drown me.
Don't act like I'm trying to drown you.
She tried to kill me.
I was just trying to get you to burn some calories with me.
And it's so funny. I met someone at that pool that went to the same high school I went to, and she was like, "Girl, no, we don't swim.
Small
we do
world.
Not swim. It is such a small world." She came up. She was like, "Your face looks so familiar." I did get her information. She said some other folks that I knew were coming to town, and she would contact me, and we would all just kind of go and break bread somewhere. So.
All right.
So we did exchange information. Mm-hmm. So yeah. All right. Well,
I'm gonna need you to follow up.
I am.
I'm gonna need you to follow up. All right. Well, let's get into it. Some technically speaking news. Of course, we're gonna start out with the Must Man, your favorite.
Oh God.
There's always something to say about him, though.
I know. I feel like we report on him a lot. He's annoying, but anyway.
We do report on him a lot, but it's always some crazy stuff that's going on. So right now, the Brazilian Supreme Court is threatening to suspend X within South America.
Ooh.
And the reason why is
the entire...
Yeah, in Latin America. So,
that's
like so one of the reasons, well, I think it would just be for Brazil, like the country of Brazil, but he also has the service that's called StarLink. That is based in Brazil that serves Latin America. So StarLink is like that internet service that gets far reaching into like the Amazonian jungle and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we talked about something about that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We talked about that once on the pod. And then so they're shutting that down in terms of his operations because he's supposed to have like Latin American representation, like legal representation, and them being based there in Latin America. That's a Brazilian requirement. So he's not meeting that requirement because like he got upset about them telling him with X, look, you're going to have to like shutter these accounts, block these accounts because they're spreading like, misinformation and everything through your platform.
So basically, again, he's not moderating anything. Yeah. So he
said, no, this is censorship, so he's, objecting. And so
that ain't America though.
Right.
So
right. And so he's still trying to operate the platform as is, but he in turn like fired his Latin American staff. And so when he did that, he doesn't have legal representation now for StarLink. So they're both in trouble within Brazil and broadly Latin America for StarLink. So I don't know. I just think he is just driven by emotion and just really...
He is. I believe he's going to be his own undoing.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it every time, we talk about him. He's constantly in the news for something that he's doing wrong.
They froze his accounts. Ooh. They froze his accounts down there.
Plot thickens.
But he said, well, we're going to continue to provide the service, which is satellite based, for free. Well, you can't collect any revenue, so yeah, it's going to be for free unless you just disable, the service and what it is. But yeah, I mean, how about just comply with the laws? But he's saying
comply with the laws, exactly.
He's accusing one of the Supreme Court judges or justices, Marias, as being a criminal or basically biased, right? Because but the thing is, the people who are spreading the misinformation are like far right folks, which I think Elon Musk kind of falls into as far as like U.S. laws, like South African laws everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he's not trying to comply with that entirely because he probably agrees with them on several levels.
Pinky in the brain. I really think he wants to do mind control on people. Yeah. And that's how he's doing it, by spreading all this misinformation or just not.
He did agree to disable these accounts. So he disabled the accounts, but then allowed them to basically establish like other accounts. So they said you don't really fully comply with the order. So, we're going to shut you down. So this happened within the last couple days. He's been
the prince of chaos. I'll say DT is probably the king of chaos.
Yeah. I'm surprised they don't like each other more.
Well, they've
I know
met
he
recently.
supports.
I think
I know he supports
starting to get along a little bit better now. So, but hey,
only because Elon's throwing money his way.
Of course.
So I don't know.
Well, speaking of lack of moderation and no guardrails, let's talk about nudify. Have you ever heard of nudify or undress?
I have never heard of these things because I don't live in the seedy underlife of the world.
Right? I am not on the dark web.
I don't see that? I know, right?
I don't operate this way. I don't even think to operate this way. But we're going to explain to the people what nudify or undress is. Like, this is crazy because I know you can imagine what it is just from what I'm. Yeah. The names of them. So, these are programs, I guess software programs or websites that allow people to upload pictures of like real life people. Mm-hmm. And it uses AI to remove the clothes from the photos to make the victims, and that's what I'm going to call them, because it is like unauthorized. So they appear to be nude and it is without their consent. So I think we also did a story about some high school students that did this to some girls. This was early on in the podcast. You remember that?
I do.
And they were trying to decide what to do with the kid
because it was like
everything,
like porn, like child pornography.
Absolutely, it's child pornography. Anybody that had it, they were kind of in trouble for it. But according to an investigation by Wired, there are websites. These websites use Google, Apple, and Discord sign-on systems, and these sign-on systems allow people to quickly sign up before they have to pay for the subscription. And so basically, when you see Google and Apple, you think it kind of legitimizes these programs, but there's an issue with that because, again, this is victimization. They're uploading people's pictures without their knowledge, without their consent, removing the clothes and distributing them. So it really is a way to actually, it's, to me, sexual assault in a way.
A kind of wild thing is that Google, Discord and Apple, they don't really make developers step through any kind of hoops in order to use their sign-on technology for their websites. So it's pretty easy to embed. So it looks like, okay, well, they're making us a little bit more official, right? And but what you're doing on the website isn't all that,
And so this is like and correct me if I'm wrong, so is this like a single sign-on? So you get on one of these websites, Undress, Nudify, and then, you can log on with your Google account, and you just click your Google account and it kind of opens up.
I never do that anyway, ever.
Yes.
Ever. You know why?
Yeah. I've stopped doing that as well.
It gives them access to certain aspects of your Google accounts or Apple accounts, whatever account.
Your Facebook or whatever. Yeah. I agree with that completely. I understand there's more than a dozen of these deepfake websites that are using these log-on buttons for the tech company. Wired reached out to, Google, Apple, and Discord, and I think they weren't really aware, and they've since, I think, put some guardrails in place, or, in some cases shut it down. I don't know if completely, but this is definitely something that needs to be, I don't know if moderation is a word. They need to be shut down. You should not be able to just have real live photos of people, upload them, take their clothes off, and then distribute it. This happened to Taylor Swift as well.
I'm about to produce my own deep fakes and put them on OnlyFans.
You know what? I could have made some money that way while you tripping. Be like, it ain't really my body, but it's my face.
It's just
rethink that. No, just kidding.
So I did not know about them, but now I do.
After you make somebody like, shut that down. Don't say it's not really me.
Right.
But anyway, But no, we really need to do something about this because it's not okay. This stuff has been around for years. They're exploiting women. I don't know if, maybe they're exploiting men also, but it's really alarming to me. And it's just becoming more widespread. That's an easy way to distribute child pornography as well. These tech companies have to do something. The government has to do something to regulate these types of
Why
sites.
do these sites exist?
Absolutely.
Why?
You know what? That is a really good question. Why do they exist? I don't know, and they're known. You know,
they're
popping up in app stores and things like that.
Even exist? And you know what? Apple and Google, they do have to approve apps into their stores. So why would you approve these in your stores?
Yeah,
it's unethical.
It is, unless they just don't know. Somebody's not minding the store. See what I did there? Somebody is not minding the store.
No.
But yeah, all right. Well, we just wanted to bring that to somebody's attention because something needs to be done.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So that's enough on that story. So you want to get into some low vibration? Although that probably should have been a low vibration story. We did this last week too. These are some low vibe technology stories. Come on, do better, y'all.
Do better. Tech community.
Oh, so what we got in low vibe today is kind of interesting. So there's a couple that was getting busy in a car, and they ended up underwater in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I ain't trying to say I have or haven't done anything in the car, but I never ended up at the bottom of some river. So this is an interesting story. So early Wednesday morning, police responded to an interesting call after an SUV had to be pulled from the water near the Columbus Bridge, somewhere, where was this? In Philadelphia, as I said. So according to police, two people were engaged in sexual activity, enjoying each other's company and getting busy, if you will, in the backseat of the vehicle while it was parked by the riverside. They had a place in Chicago called The Point. So I guess clearly it could have happened.
Was it on the riverside?
It was on Lake Michigan. You don't want to end up in that thing.
You don't want to end up in the Schuylkill River either.
No, you don't. River, that's the name of it. School. I didn't try to pronounce it. You see, I skipped over that. But yeah,
in PA, you know, my dad's from. He was from Philly.
Okay, so that's how you know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, no. That's nothing to play with.
Yeah, girl. They ended up. Why is it like a big riverside? It's deep.
Yeah, well, it's deep in some places, and it's long, and it's got a little bit. It feels like a current.
Ooh.
In there. Yeah.
All right. So according to them, they were getting busy, and at one point, the woman accidentally disengaged the vehicle from park, causing it to roll into the water. Girl, they was wild, honey.
What were they doing?
It.
What? No.
That was
this
doing it.
This makes no sense.
Ooh, honey, with both of them in it, both parties were able to get out of the SUV and swim to shore. And neither of them required medical treatment. See, this is one of the reasons why I need to learn how to swim. Girl, I would have made it out alive. Now I would have gone down with the car.
No.
That's insane.
So they escaped the car before it hit like the river or the water?
No, honey, they were in it. They were in it. Both of them were in the vehicle when it went into the water. They were able to get out and they had to swim.
Oh, these idiots. I'm sorry.
It wasn't worth it, honey.
You getting chopped down by Aquaman.
So they said when rescue vehicles and things showed up, they said you could see the lights on the car was still underwater. So I was like, oh, what kind of car was that?
How you explain that to your insurance company?
Yeah.
And it's in the news. You can't lie.
That is so insane.
What's the police report going to say?
Man, if you gonna be doing it like that, like you got to make sure you got to be more careful.
Oh, it sounds like they were in neutral or somebody didn't press park. They just got really.
How about you turn the car off? I guess they were listening to music.
How about just find someplace else?
Because they probably creeping. Who knows?
Possibly.
Creep.
They probably was creeping. They probably were creeping.
But yeah, all right, people, don't try that at home or in the car unless the car is off.
Or near a river.
Or near a river, yep. So that's enough of that. Let's
I'm going to try to bring us a little higher. I don't know what all I got to say, but like, I did want to highlight Danielle Coke Balfour. She goes by Danny.
Hey, Danny.
And she is actually local. She's here in Atlanta. She's an artist and speaker, entrepreneur, but she's also a social activist. And she's been, highlighted on a lot of different places, Allure, NBC, Forbes. She writes and she produces art, and she basically her content is to impress a message, really. She tries to instill in children, that they are worthy, but also promoting justice and mercy and Black history. And I just wanted to like throw her a shout out. I think that she's, you know, a conscious artist, which I love to see.
Conscious. She woke.
She's woke.
As opposed to being asleep.
And she has a book called A Heart on Fire. So that's how I kind of came across her, because it's a book of meditations. And so
I like it.
I've been doing some meditative stuff.
I will definitely check it out.
And it's so a book of like meditations and illustrations, and it's just encouraging people to do good work and also like really pursue like a really healthy and wholesome lifestyle, which is kind of hard, like the world the way it is, but still it's a good mindfulness practice.
What's the name of the book?
It's called A Heart on Fire.
Heart on Fire. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And we can find that on like
Coke
Amazon
or Amazon, Bookshop, Barnes and Noble, Target, BAMS, wherever you get your books.
All right. Shout out. Shout out, Danny.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right. Well, what's thinking on the internet, ma'am?
Ah, Lord. Well, of course, you know, we have the presidential election that is some 67 days away, 65, 67, somewhere in there.
Can't wait until day 68.
Oh, my God. Well, we might not even have an answer for you, honey. It might be day 90 before we actually know what's actually happening. So we need a landslide either way, maybe. So, okay, so... You know, Kamala Harris is now the Democratic nominee for president.
Yes.
She's been blazing a trail ever since the announcement, which is good. And so there have been some Republicans who are trying to think of any and everything to illegitimize her, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a Republican group who cited the Dred Scott ruling for the reason that Kamala Harris can't be president.
What was the Dred Scott ruling? Can you educate us?
Okay, well, the National Federation of Republican Assemblies cited the 1857 Dred Scott Supreme Court decision as a reason why, again, that she's
what year was that?
Girl, 1857. That reached way back. Okay. And the Dred Scott versus Sanford, the decision was that the Supreme Court ruled that slaves weren't U.S. citizens and weren't protected by the federal government. Okay, so they're not citizens, they're saying. So you have to be a U.S. citizen in order to be the president of the United States. So, of course, we know that ruling has since been overturned.
I mean, what year was
first of all
Obama
slavery
president?
Hello.
So it's the descendants of slaves as well? Because, like, Kamala isn't a slave.
Barack wasn't a slave.
So Dred Scott
were not slaves.
Slaves, but, like,
oh, my goodness.
Also descendants of slaves? Is that what they're trying to argue?
That's what they're kind of trying to argue.
That's fun. Okay.
And so it's really unclear why they cited the Dred Scott ruling. Because in their argument, you know, because...
They also say that she's not black, right?
They said she's not black, but it's just crazy. She is a natural born citizen. She was born and raised in Oakland, California, honey. You know, I probably don't get no blacker than that, really. Okay, so but this same organization actually questioned the validity of Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy. It's insane. So she was born on American soil as well.
All right,
it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know.
I'm gonna let them consume themselves.
They all should have been low. They should have been low vibration with, as well. Honestly. So, man, they went to 1857.
Girl,
and slavery was abolished in what 1865-ish. Yeah, that's crazy. Alrighty.
All she got to do is pull out her citizenship card, and
Well, I don't know if you got a chance to see her first interview last night on CNN.
I saw some parts clips of it.
Yeah, and she won't even engage in that conversation.
Why
she said next question, and I agree with her. I think that's probably good advice, maybe from President Obama. He probably said, "Don't even engage in that." Maybe that's something he wished he didn't engage in. Like, this is silly.
Barack Hussein Obama. Who do you? I didn't even know his middle name until Trump was out there.
Oh, he had to because he wanted. Of course, he likes to stoke fear.
Right.
And I was actually proud of him when he got sworn in that he said his entire name.
Good, yeah, because he's nothing to be ashamed of. Like,
absolutely not. He has no affiliation to that person that did what he did.
I could say a whole lot here, but I'm gonna keep it to myself. Yeah, girl. Well, let me tell you about some other foolishness. So the whole Cam Newton viral marriage comments and Jasmine Brown, his longtime girlfriend now, and
baby mama.
Well, one of his baby mamas, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he has 8 children? I think maybe
he got a whole lot of them. That's a lot of them.
Different moms, and she's the latest.
Yeah,
and they're still in a relationship. And so basically, he was talking about marriage and how he wants more children. Right, but
now who? Her or somebody else?
He didn't say who. He just kind of left that open. He said he wants more children. He said that he's not very concerned about getting married, that he has a higher fear of marriage than he does of
fathering children by multiple
or divorce. Women. So, but I think he's been married before. Right?
I remember that, yeah.
Wasn't he? He was married before. And didn't they have some huge blowout type of...
Did he cheat or something? I forget what happened.
I think he cheated, and I think somebody messed him up.
I was just thinking to myself as you were talking, I'm like, Cam, go get some help. Do the work.
Yeah, you know what, though? That just, it just leads me to, think about, some people who are, he's a celebrity, obviously, because of his sports career, his football career. But he also now has this podcast or talk show that he is doing interviews with people on. And I don't know, he just kind of presents himself as this guru or know-it-all.
Guru?
Kind of on interpersonal things. So I don't know. He just has this air about him that he is just above all. And anyway, so Jasmine Brown, his girlfriend, is just playing right into it.
Oh, she seems like a sweet girl. I've seen, I like her energy just from some of her videos. She was. I like her energy
from being a comedian from back in the day. She seems like she's a dedicated mother and stuff, but she seems like she's lost in the sauce with Mr. Newton.
Yeah.
Because at one point she had been very adamant and was very condescending about baby mamas, right?
No, she didn't.
Oh, she was. She was like, I'll never be a baby mom. And here she is.
Baby mom.
Here she is. And so
she's a sweet girl. I've seen her interview on some podcasts. I like her.
I like her too.
Yeah.
I like her too. I just feel like, one, he's kind of led you to basically go against your own standards, right?
Yeah.
You said you didn't want to, because you can prevent that.
Amen, you can.
You can prevent that. So she now is what she never wanted to be.
Yeah.
And obviously, if she didn't want to be a baby mom, but she wanted to be a mother, that means she wants to be married. So, I'm not sure that she's hanging around waiting for him to make some decisions, but he's talking about he wants more kids, and
not necessarily by
not necessarily by her. So
what upsets me about all of this, I love babies and babies are blessings, but these black men like Nate Cannon, they leave a trail of broken homes behind them.
Can we just include the white men who do the same?
Oh yeah,
Elon Musk. He's a rich man. I'm sure. Kids, I don't know, but I don't know his story. I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't.
Yeah, one of his daughters, she can't stand him. I think she's trans, and I think he's against it. And they have a very strained relationship.
Donald Trump.
But yeah,
we just got to talk about this. They got a weird.
You ain't seen none of it. Well, I had to see a couple of his sons at the RNC, but Ivanka,
they keep bearing well hidden, man. That dude, I'm sure it's on Ritalin or something. I don't know.
Ivana, whatever. The daughter, she's like, I'm out of that. My name Bennett, I ain't in it. And his wife, even, you don't see much of Melania. She declined to speak at the RNC.
Yeah. But to your point, though, right? But to your point, though, about them leaving, and he did an interview recently with this woman who I'm on the fence about.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, her
Cheyenne, Dr. Bryant.
Yeah. So I think she's a psychologist or some kind of
Basketball
therapist.
Wives, she's been on there lately.
Yeah, she's been on Basketball Wives, but I don't think she's ever been a wife. As far as I know, well, she's currently single. Let me just say that, and nothing wrong with being single. Hey, I'm a single woman, right? But at the same time, it's like she was commenting and giving him advice on his situation, and I think also, I feel like on one hand, she was saying what needed to be said, particularly about a man who is already on baby mom number 3. right? And you're talking about having more children, but without commitment.
That's crazy.
But she's also, the way she carries herself on the show is, I don't know, seemingly a little bit hypocritical. And, you know, I don't think she's an expert on the subject.
Yeah. No.
But it kind of brings us around to our main topic, which is about the business of marriage, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't think, well, I do think that a lot of men these days who I hear just in, you know, society, usually sometimes in conversations, but often on social mediums, speaking about, you know, they don't want to ever get married. And I hear this more and more from men today than I think I ever have before. And a lot of them, you know, are listening to the experiences of people who have been married. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them have fears, like real deal fears about being married. Because they feel like, you know, they're going to be asked to change. But I think, or other things, right? Or they're not going to be able to like sow their oats the way they once could, being controlled.
Yeah. And you shouldn't be married if you're thinking that, along those lines.
But but I think, you know, a lot of them do. But I think the biggest thing is that they're going to like lose financially. They're going to lose financially.
Yeah.
And so I've heard so many men talking about like how you just gonna lose half of your stuff. Like, you know, she's gonna take everything.
If you have something to lose, I understand protecting yourself. But to me, that's not an excuse not to fall in love, get married, and build a family. I mean, because there's a 50-50 chance that won't happen.
But I also feel like not everybody wants that. You know, and that's okay.
That should not be your reason. Mm-hmm. If that's your reason, like, oh, somebody's gonna take all my money. I mean, there's a way to mitigate
yourself.
That. Yes, you can protect yourself. It's very unsexy, but you should have that conversation. You should have that conversation with the woman when the time comes. Mm-hmm. You protect yourself. She should protect herself. And to me, everybody should be fair. You know, it's very unsexy. You know, and if you want to remove yourself from it, have your lawyers duke it out.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think you gotta have to, like,
you know what I don't like, girl? What? I've read this multiple times about people. I think this happened with Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. But right before they got married, he like handed her the prenup. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you're on your wedding day or a couple days before your wedding, and they're shoving something under your nose. And that's not cool.
And didn't she sign it?
She did.
But then now she's trying to object.
She's trying to fight it. Yes.
How you gonna do?
Because she just was like, I just want to get married. I love him, blah, blah, blah. Because that's how you're thinking. Your wedding day, you know, that happened to Tammy Roman. I think she said that happened to her as well right before she was marrying Kenny Anderson at the time.
He handed her a prenup.
He handed her the prenup on the wedding day. That, to me, that would be the reason why I wouldn't want to marry you. Because that's just so not right. Like, why would you not have this conversation ahead of time?
Prenups should go hand in hand with a marriage license. If you have anything to protect at all. Yeah, I really do. I really do
talk about right after the proposal. To me,
I think it should be talked about maybe as soon as you talk about getting married. Yeah. Like, this is what kind of. Yeah. But even in normal conversation, like if you're like leading up to potential for marriage, those kind of conversations come up. Yeah. So you should be talking about like your prenup, like what your plan is for like your assets, a will, like if something happens to you, especially if you get married later in life, and if I get sick, you have children, like what you want to leave to them, like versus like, you know, your spouse. Yeah. What's going to happen if, you know, something happens to you health-wise, who's going to take care of you?
Yeah. I mean, the reality is marriage is a business. A lot of people don't like to think that way, and they think,
you have to get a license to do it.
You have to get a license to do it, man. You have to, you have to get lawyers. Usually, sometimes, you know, court has to decide, you know, about divorce, and when you're dividing up your assets, things like that. Like, you and I, we both are divorced, and it was not easy. I still have property that we're trying to
yours is tougher than mine. Mine was actually pretty easy. However, I thank God that like he was very rational. We had that stuff, but it's like we were very fair to each other in everything, and split things very fairly. So
I gave up some stuff because I just wanted.
And a lot of people end up doing that. A lot of people end up doing that. I think it's sometimes it's like not fair. particularly when you've acquired certain things together. You know,
I can say that it was mostly fair, honestly, because, you know, I'm the one who did leave the situation, and I left some things behind that he handled. So, But yeah, it is a business. And once that bad boy is dissolving, there's just things that have to be discussed.
Yeah.
And to me, you should always operate out of love and in love. You love that person at one point.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be.
You don't want to see them destitute or screwed. Otherwise, like, to me, I don't know.
To me,
under circumstances, some people be like, I hate him because he did this, that, and the third. Yeesh. So I'm just glad mine didn't.
And that's a difficult, place to be too, because like I'm not sure how things would have gone, like if me and my ex-husband, like, things were contentious like that because he had cheated or I had cheated, or you know what I mean, like he might not have operated the same way, or I might not have operated the same way. I might have felt like jaded or something like that. It's potential, right? But also, like, I don't know. I think that regardless of those things that happen, like, you have to basically think about the business aspects of it, managing your legal relationship. It's a legal relationship.
It really is. It is.
And you need to think about it like that and stop considering it taboo. Like, I hear so many women say, oh, if he asked me to sign a prenup, I'm out, period. Like, why can't... If he has a master, why should he just hand everything over to you?
Yeah.
And a woman as well. A lot of women these days are working, got businesses, got their own stuff. Why should you just hand over everything?
Absolutely.
I hear about these women paying alimony and stuff. Like,
crazy.
Wow.
Halle Berry, I heard about her paying.
Mary J. Blige?
She had to pretty much start over. Like, girl, protect yourself, honey. Protect your neck.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't have to be a negative thing.
Don't let love blind you.
Yeah, do not let love blind you. You're just like, it can be positive for both parties. That way it's more of a clean break. It's less pain that way. If you can divide things, just think about what it is. What we gonna do? Like, you come in with what you leave with what you came with, and whatever we built together, we split. I mean, you just got to think of things fairly. Sometimes you really do have to try to take the emotion out of it as well, especially if you've been hurt, you cheating, or maybe the other person doesn't want to leave. But I don't know. I'm just like, if you can just finish with the least amount of pain and damage and destruction behind you, the better off both parties will be.
Yeah.
It is a business, though. Sorry, people. In my opinion, that's my opinion.
And that's not to, like, negate the love. You know what I mean? It should enhance the love, like, like knowing that you guys are both looking out for each other. You know what I mean? Because I also don't feel like, if one person is wealthy, or you guys, like, have amassed something, in the future, why would you want them to be destitute potentially?
That's how I feel.
Like, I'm gonna wipe you out, like, if something happens, or I'm taking it. I cannot. It burns me up to no end to see child support arrangements that are so one-sided. It is both people caring for the child, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So to take such a large chunk of someone's, like, income, like, how do they support themselves? Or
they got to do extra to support themselves. They can kill themselves because they paying you a certain amount of money.
So just be business minded as you approach the idea of marriage.
And prenup is not a dirty word.
It is not. Like,
and a lot of women feel like they're the ones who are going to get the shorter end. You don't have to get the shorter end. Have your attorney think about what it is you want, if, God forbid, the marriage ends. And nobody, I don't know. You just have to think to yourself, I'm not trying to come up, but
like, you do step outside.
I get this. Here. A lot of women add that, a cheat clause.
I mean, if that's a concern, absolutely. Like, consider all those things, and people will think twice because it's an agreement. Like,
in my mind,
you do vows, right?
I'm just like, if I gotta add a cheat clause, I feel like I know already. I just would want it to be fair, period, regardless of the cheating or not. I'm not, I know already if I gotta add a cheat clause, shit. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like, even if you just literally incorporated your vows, like, for the most part, like, you're already vowing to do these things, like, why not just put it in writing, and both of y'all sign it. Yep. So, any final words on that?
Protect your neck. Both sides. And prenup is not a dirty word. Okay.
Agreed.
Remove the negativity from it and just think with your mind and not with your heart and your other parts.
Yeah.
Just be smart about it. So, yeah.
So, let's move on to our each one teach one. What you got?
I was thinking to myself yesterday that I need to have more patience with people.
Who you gonna got impatient with?
I was just thinking in general that I hate to repeat myself. I'm one of those people, I hate to repeat myself. And my guy will say, I get annoyed probably if he asks a question or he didn't hear something. My sister, she's like, I'd be scared to say something to you because you hate repeat yourself. You be all annoyed. And I said to myself, I really need to have more patience. People should not be afraid to ask me anything if they have a question or if they didn't hear me. That's not cool. And I am a person who, when I am working especially, or doing anything that I'm just really into, I don't hear you if you're talking to me. I've done this several times myself. I'll ask my guy a question. He'll be like, I was just talking to you about that, but you was working. So people have patience with me, and I don't have patience with them. So that's my each one teach one. For myself, really, I just need to be more patient and just stop, getting annoyed just because someone has a question about something you've already covered.
Or it could just be like they just didn't hear you. You know what I mean?
They didn't hear me or whatever. Yeah, I'm just trying to be better, y'all.
Everybody's multitasking these days. And sometimes you do have to like repeat yourself.
So I was just like, I'm being a hypocrite because I ask questions that that I've already been told to be as well. So, oops.
Okay, I think it's a good thing to do. Try to practice and exercise patience. It's always good. So mine is just putting in the work. Like, I hear a lot of people like talking about like goals that they have, but not really taking the steps and like turning that hope and like wish and dream into action. Dreamers almost. So and then apart from that, it's more so just about taking like this kind of easy bake approach to achievement, right? So it's like I see a lot of people especially, and a lot of people I know are like just considering plastic surgery, you know, like having certain procedures. But I think some things, like if it's something that you can actually fix, you can actually do by like basically putting in the work, like you'll probably feel more fulfilled and be, a higher likelihood of maintaining whatever that success is, whether it's financial or physical.
So no Ozempic for you?
Career? No, definitely no. I think that's dangerous to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you might have regrets because the impacts it has on your health, because like be suffering as a result of it. I've heard it can affect your kidneys, but all that. Like, no, I'm not. Yeah. I'm your liver, all that. I'm not. Definitely not trying to do that. So like, yes, it's taken me a while to lose the weight that I want and like get to where I want, but I'm seeing slow progress and success.
Yeah, you look good.
And I feel, well, thank you. And I feel like it's a lifestyle change, and I don't really want to go under the knife to do something that really is just a matter of me eating right. Because like if I do that right, I'm going to gain it back. You know?
Yeah, it is a lifestyle change.
That's why lottery ticket winners often like just lose all their weight.
They blow through their butts.
They didn't really earn it. So anyway, that's a reminder. Put in the work. Doesn't matter your age. Like, you can muster the energy. You can figure out what that is to the formula to get it right, to put the time and the work in and be consistent and achieve what you want.
I like it.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our show.
And we want to thank you for sticking with us as we continue to grow.
You can listen and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We also invite you to like and follow us on IG and TikTok, and email us at spontaneousdisruption@gmail.com to chat with your hosts or propose topics for future episodes.
With that, we'll see you next week, and we out.